welcome back. I'm the History Smith here, and I have a follow-up video to my first Denix video. This one will be covering pistols going from the Old West, well, I should say from the American Confederate War to the Old West. I'm going to start off with a classic. This is a nice little guy here. It even says exactly what it is. You don't have to guess. It's a Philadelphia Derringer. Again, these pistols, they're made out of a white metal. Probably a zinc composite of some sort. They do not fire. They cannot be made to fire. If you do anything remotely harsh to these things, they'll fall apart, or worse if you put gunpowder in them. They have the classic half-cock, full-cock fire. This one I've actually added a period percussion cap to. I got out of Gettysburg. Really nice military store down there. He gave me a handful for free, and I occasionally put them on my display items. So what these feature, again, usually a full wooden stock. All the parts are going to be cast, so they're going to be a bit rough in areas. Like up under here, you can see there's kind of a rough casting. Sometimes you'll see a mold line where the two molds came apart. And you'll classically find these black screws. They're ugly, but they're okay. They're better than like Star Heads or Robertsons or something weird like that. So that's the first one I'm going to show you there. Nice and affordable little guy to pick up. Something you'll find when you're on vacation. I'll also give you a link to a place where I buy mine from. So let's go to a Colt. The Colt 1849 Pocket. This would be considered a Wells Fargo because it does not have the loading handle here. They get a little bit more interesting when they get into pistols. This is not a wood, or if it's a wood, it's some sort of wood composite. But nice thing about these is they do function. My experience is they're a little bit delicate to be playing with on a regular basis, but they're great for display and a great way to show how they function. They're not through barrels, so you can't load these things. If you notice the jump there, I just sneezed my head off. All right, so this one here, it came all in this kind of gray finish. It's the classic antique. I did scrape the finish off, and I applied cold blue. These do take cold blue, which is kind of nice. So if you want to modify them and have a little more authentic look, you can do that. Again, so cylinder. This one doesn't really have the nicest action, but it's one of the cheaper pistols. The wedges don't come out. It doesn't disassemble in any way like a real pistol. I don't even know how many of these screws are even real screws. They look like they're all real screws. But don't take these apart. I've taken the 1873 apart, and it was just an absolute nightmare to put back together. All right, we'll move on to another oldie and biggie and heavy. The Colt Dragoon. This is heavy. I mean, I don't know what the real Dragoon weigh, but I'm pretty sure this is close to the same weight. It feels like, I don't know, 2-3 pounds. I mean, 3 pounds, I would say. I wouldn't even say 2 pounds. Functions. Barrel locks. Half cock. You can spin the barrel just like the real thing. You can even hear the little cylinder detents locking in place. Once more, it's not a solid barrel. Well, that's not a good example. That thing's too short even for that. That's how far it goes down. Again, you don't want to put anything explosive in these. These are not meant for that. It's nice for me. I think it has the whole fight scene that the original Dragoon had. Way deeper. On the real ones, this is just etched really lightly. This with a roll stamping. This is embossed. This is deep, but again, really nice display piece. You can get replica Colt Dragoons, but you know what? No one's going to accidentally get shot with one of these, right? So another nice feature about this is the loading rod actually functions. So you can pretend you're loading bullets if you ever have that desire to pretend you're a real cowboy, which I know a lot of you out there do. I'm looking at you people with the cowboy hats. It's got nice features, proper features. These are never going to be 100% accurate to the real thing, but nice little detail on the trigger shape there, proper to a Dragoon. The hammer shape is okay, but I'm no expert. But again, locking wedges don't come out. This gun does not come apart in any way. It's not designed to be taken apart. Has the real wood grips. all the springs in here are going to be coil springs and things like that. So, again, they're a nightmare. Let's move on to a Civil War pistol. 1860 Army. I think this is one of the nicer looking ones. Myself, if anybody's doing a Civil War reenactment, this is a perfect pistol for that. Perfect. Again, no one's going to get hurt. You can't load these things. They have solid barrels. This one in particular has a very solid barrel. The percussion caps nipples, they're not drilled through, so even if you put a percussion cap on there, it won't do anything. Rotates. Just like the real one does. Full cock, fire. Full cock, fire. Like I said, these are a little more durable than like the flintlocks with those long swan necks. So, like I said, you can play with them, but they're not meant to be used as real heavy-duty things. They're just kind of novelty items. I always say I consider them like the 1970s bar item. You hang it on your wall next to a wanted poster or something like that. But there you go. The loading rod works. Little spring catch up here locks in, and some fake screws. Locking wedges don't remove just like the other ones. Nice little markings. It's a great little display piece. I mean, I would know it was fake at first glance, but most people I don't think would, especially from a distance. Moving on, the classic pocket Derringer here, the one everyone thinks of when it comes to the Mississippi boat gamblers. This one functions just like the real one. This does have a drilled through barrel, but no firing pin, nothing protruding, nothing. No way of making this thing fire. And again, if you did, this is just a white metal, zinc, with the yellow varnish on it to make it look like brass. It is not brass. It is not strong. Even the original ones, you'll find them cracking up along the hinge here. So don't screw around with these. They're just novelties. They're just toys. These, again, you can find usually if you go on vacation to in the States down to like the old West towns or something like that, the ghost towns, Calico, Deadwood. Well, Deadwood's not a ghost town, but anyways, functions just like the real one. Half cock, full cock. Usually the half cocks, they don't have a safety on them. They're just have the feel. Fake mother of pearl grips. Again, it's a nice little pistol, great for a Halloween costume. Moving on. I got more of these than I do the Old West ones. Now you're gonna find these ones get a little bit funky. So there's a holster I made. This is the... Oh, what's it called now? Ah, darn it. Let me pause. I'm going to figure this one out.
You boys, some kind of posse. I hate posses.
All right. Of course, I remembered before I finished looking it up. I didn't forget this is a 310 to Yuma holster from the remake. And this is Charlie Prince's holster. And Charlie Prince in that movie carried a Smith & Wesson. I believe it was a Schofield that he carried. This is just a standard Smith & Wesson Model 3 single action. Holster's fun to build. I mean, I got the red interior, the stitching. It's double layered. Two layers and then a filler, but and then studs, of course. It has a liner in it so you don't scratch up your gun. So that's enough about the holster. Let's get to the gun. So it's a full size. I was gonna say, some funky stuff. I tried to make a grip, like my first attempt a long time ago. So that one didn't turn out too well, but whatever. So function-wise, half cock, spin the barrel, full cock. Doesn't really lock up. Like I said, these are not real guns, so you got to give them some slack somewhere. Once more, the barrel. Okay, this is a little bit longer, but the barrel's plugged. The brake action is the same. There's no ejector mechanism. These, I just shoved in here. Pull that up. You can actually remove the barrel out of this one. These are 357 Magnum dummy rounds. So, they fit. They look good. And they'll get you a shot if you point it at somebody. Again, no firing pin protruding. This is not the kind of metal that can even take that kind of stress. This one, when I bought it, had a brass frame to it. You can kind of see the coloration is getting a little bit funky after a few years. It was the same white metal, but polished, and then they put that yellow lacquer, but I scraped the lacquer off, and I put gun blue. Could probably use a, what do you call it? A reapplication of that. But burl wood grips I've added. None of these things function. Side plate doesn't come off. Side plate's stuck on there permanently. You probably could remove the barrel quite easily. As a matter of fact, you can. I did for the bluing process, but I didn't disassemble it. A fun gun. And a great costume piece. Moving on to the final gun of the batch. We've been going at this for about 10 minutes now. Another holster that I made. You guys can probably already tell what gun's in here. This is the classic cowboy gun.
Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Listen, mister, I'm getting awful tired of your...
I'm getting tired of your gas. Now jerk that pistol and go to work. I said throw down, boy. Oh! You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
So you got your belt loop. Blah, 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 blah. Holster's a holster is a holster is a holster. But this is, I will have to say, a pretty well-made holster. You can see the 3 layers there a little bit easier. And this has also been wet formed to the shape of the pistol. So it keeps the shape of the pistol no matter what. So this was, it's an 1873. They have several different versions, several different finishes. You get them in black, you get them in nickel, you can get them in combination nickel, black, blah, 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 blah. This is the antique finish. It came with some kind of rosewood looking grips with a star on it. I'm not a big fan of that. You know, Lone Star, kind of Texas Ranger stuff. Canadian is not really my thing, but I do like burl wood, so made some burl wood grips for it. Again, an early attempt, second attempt after the Smith & Wesson, so these turned out better, but they're not, you know, perfect. All right, let's get to the function. Half cock, full cock, fire, loading gate. You can get, you can definitely get blanks from Denix to fill these cylinders up if you want it to. And you don't have to pull the accidental, oh, I didn't know it was loaded, and shoot somebody. Ejection rod, I should actually show that with that open. Ejection rod. Functions just like the real one. It's a little bit stiff, but this one, again, for some reason, I don't know why I took it apart, but I took it apart in the past. A pain to put together. You can see it's not even constructed like the real one. The real one, all this would come apart. If you want to see what it looks like, my 1902, sorry, the 1878 Colt video I did, the Colt Filipino, shows you how a real gun disassembles. Of course, the Filipino is, you know, different from here back, but similar enough. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed these videos of all the big pistols. The Western pistols, the Derringers. The Derringers are fun little pieces. You got the 1876, you got the 1849, you got the Smith & Wesson. You got a big pile of guns here. So in short, I'll end the video here saying thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I'll give you a link to Jastro Armory, and you can buy their stuff. I will note that I'm getting a weird error message about security, but I've been dealing with them for years, so please disregard whatever error there is on their website and have a look. If you're from elsewhere in the world, you shouldn't have a hard time finding these either. These are all come out of Spain, so if we can get them in Canada, you can probably get them in Europe. All right, thank you. Please like and subscribe. Every one of you counts, and I would like to do more of these for you guys. So the encouragement is great, and keep it up. Thank you.